What up, my people, and welcome back to the Ricardo Report's National Review, powered by Football University. Man, do we have a heck of a show for you here today. Coming up, we're going to be speaking about Dax Holyfield, Josh Belk, Colin Henrik. Later on, I'm going to be talking to Skylar Davis, but first, we're going to open the show with my dear friend who is kind enough to join us during his birthday week. This is my main man, Mr. Freddie Brown.
Man, it's an awesome show. I'm glad that you're doing it. So much information for everyone. You should tune in. You're fixing the world's problems one show at a time.
Look, that's what we're here for, man. We're here to do special things like that. My man. Now, Freddie Brown, I know you well, obviously. All of the parents, a lot of the coaches, they know you well also. But for anybody out there who does not know Freddie Brown yet, what's your experience in this game and who have you coached?
Well, basically, I started out coaching in college after I had been in private business for about 10 years after college, and I worked during my time prior to coaching for Mr. Richardson, Jerry Richardson, who's the owner of the Carolina Panthers. So we had a connection there. I learned a lot about the ways of business and whatnot. And so when he left to get a franchise, I actually went back. I went into coaching and went to coach my alma mater. So I started in college. And so I did that for a number of years. Had the opportunity to coach with the Panthers in the early 2000s. Had a great running back that I coached named Tim Biakapatuka.
Wow.
I coached Nick Goings, D. Brown from Syracuse, just some really good players. And so after that experience, went back to college, and I coached college for a few more years. And then I, as my younger son, well, my only son at the time, he was about to graduate high school. He went to the University of South Carolina to play in the SEC for Steve Spurrier. He actually committed to Lou Holtz, and Lou Holtz retired about the middle of the week. And then, so I'm the only guy that had Lou Holtz on his couch one week, and had Steve Spurrier on the couch 4 days later. So it was a pretty good time for us. We had a good time with that. So he played in the SEC. And so I went to high school then. I ended up coaching high school football for a number of years as a head coach before getting out of football in 2011 and becoming a judge. So I had about 20 years in, and it was a good run for me.
Man, Steve Spurrier, Lou Holtz, you coached for 20 years and you're a judge? Brother, I need to be hanging out with you on the weekends. Check this out. What regions, what states do you cover?
Well, I'm the full-time guy in Florida. I cover South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. I cover Maryland, D.C., Delaware.
So, a ton of young men obviously begin their relationship with the All-American games at FBU camps with hopes of one day growing and developing into an Army All-American. There are a ton of steps in between there, though. Speak to me about all of those opportunities. Talk to me about the path.
Our whole goal is to help you arrive where you're trying to arrive, and whether that's be a contributor on your high school team, or a starter on your middle school team, or a starter as a ninth grader in your high school. We want to help you accomplish your goals. Our job, one of our main company focuses is helping kids succeed. And helping you succeed, we have many products that allow you to do that. Right. So what we offer is a camp for your development, right? That's a key portion of your development, being developed by NFL talent, NFL coaches and NFL players. There's no better way to do it, to get development from guys that have done it at the highest level. So we have camp. You're also able to play in our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade tournament, which is the national championship tournament, which will be coming up here in December. And I know you'll talk to that. So that's a 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade tournament that's held all around the country in the early rounds, and then we take the top 16 teams down to Naples, Florida, and decide a true national champion. And it has become the Little League World Series of football, basically, as we build a $100 million plus facility in Naples, Florida. So then you have the National Combine, which is the Army All-American Combine, or the FBU Combine. What happens there is we invite 600 of the best football players around the country to come and compete against each other for a day and time and one-on-ones. And you see the very, very, very best that high school football has to offer in San Antonio, Texas, during the same time of the Army All-American Bowl. In between that, we take our best camp participants, about 40% of our campers from our camp. We select them to go to an event called Top Gun. They come and they'll go to Top Gun at the end of the summer camp season. So that allows them to have a showcase event. You'll see in middle school, you'll see the top talent from around the country. So if you're from the Southeast, you'll get to see kids from Texas, California, the Northeast, the middle states. So you get to see kids from everywhere in the country in your same age group because you participate in your same age group. And, of course, the Army All-American Bowl is our signature game. We also have a 9th grade All-American game that kind of puts them automatically in the top 100 9th graders in the country.
Opportunities for student athletes of all different age groups. That is definitely what's up. Check this out. You mentioned the FBU National Championship Tournament. Of course, that is right around the corner. We got tryouts going down right now. People are getting excited about it. I want to speak to you about your region, one of your brackets in particular. This one is stacked. You got New York with Deshaun Thomas up there. You've got Team Maryland Metro with Kevin Holmes. You've got Virginia with Jawan Banks putting together a formidable squad. And, of course, the defending national champions, Terrence Bird, Mike Anderson, the team director. We don't want to give any predictions or anything yet, but what are your thoughts on that bracket?
New York is coming down. We've got a guy in New York, a team director named Deshaun Thomas, who is actually a detective in New York. So obviously he's doing great work for us in New York as a detective, but he's also put together a team that is well funded, well organized, well taken care of, so they really feel like they have a chance to come down and do a great job against the teams in the DMV. So they'll be an unfamiliar team because we hadn't seen them in the tournament, this particular brand of New York football. So it creates all kinds of storylines with that in mind. The Team Maryland kids have been outstanding, and they are the king of the hill right now, okay? And other people are coming in thinking we can take down the king of the hill. Metro Maryland those kids are out of Bowie with team director Kevin Holmes, who's doing a great job of putting together an outstanding group, and they're playing in grassroots football with the Team Maryland kids playing under Mike Anderson's grassroots football. Mike Anderson is the team director for Team Maryland. And then you have Jawan Banks just across the bridge, who is pulling his team together from all of Virginia, which is a very interesting concept because he has kids coming from Richmond. I think they have a trial this weekend. I'll be in Richmond this weekend enjoying their trial on Sunday. And so, you have them coming, got the beach kids, and the deal with Virginia Beach in this town in the Norfolk area. So you've got them coming from all over, from Loudoun, from every corner, the entire state, versus a split Maryland team which has tremendous talent with Metro and Team Maryland in a New York squad coming down. So it's very interesting.
That is a powerful bracket, bro. Look, I'm a VA boy myself, 757, so you know that Jawan Banks is going to put together a heck of a squad. Deshaun Thomas, New York is coming strong with it. Won New York this year. He was a guest. Kevin Holmes, that team Maryland Metro vastly improved. And, of course, we know Bird, Mike Anderson, defending champs. Really ain't much more to say about that. I want to speak to you about a couple of Army Bowl student athletes, though, so if you don't mind, keep it locked right here. We'll be right back. It's the National Review.
Dave Diaz-Infante, offensive line coach, FBU. San Diego Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, and Denver Broncos, two-time Super Bowl champion. FBU is for the players that want to be the best. It's for the best being trained by the best. It's the best thing you could ever do. It's the FBU experience.
Your official voice of youth and high school sports, I am Chad Ricardo, and you are watching the National Review. Freddie Brown joining us via satellite. Freddie, thank you very much for holding on, brother. Look, I want to speak to you about a couple of Army All-American Bowl commits in particular. His first young man, he's down there in North Carolina, a heck of a linebacker. Love his name, love his game. Speak to me about Dax Hollifield.
Dax Hollifield is an unbelievable player. He is skilled. He's a throwback, if you will, a middle linebacker. He's committed to the University of North Carolina, although he has offers from all over the country, and we know how that works. Well, we hope that he stays in North Carolina, but obviously these kids have lots of offers, the ones that we're talking about. But he is a downhill, as you would call it, linebacker. He is a thumper. He absolutely will take you off your feet. He's a cat that will have 20 tackles in a game, 2 interceptions, 2 2 forced fumble, 2 deflections, he'll block a punt, and he'll score a 2-point play. I mean, he does it all for his team. He does it all, man. He shows up every Friday night. Tremendous football player. So Dax Hollifield is a great player. He's from Shelby, North Carolina. Like I said, he's committed to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Bro, does he do all that and cook hamburgers at halftime? Talk about a talent, man. All right, the next young man I want to speak about, this is my dude here. Had an opportunity to meet him down at Top Gun. Tremendous student athlete, tremendous young man. My guy, Josh Belk. What do you got on him?
Josh Belk, the big boy. Josh is committed to Clemson, and Josh is a defensive lineman that in 7-on-7 throughout the summer, I saw him throughout the summer. In 7-on-7, Josh played tailback.
Wow.
For 7-on-7. He was a huge 300-plus pound tailback. So it was interesting to see him catch. He catches the ball great. He runs well for a big fella. Tremendous athlete on the defensive line. He was all Top Gun. And so he, obviously was one of the better players at the Top Gun, and that's what you'll see at Top Gun, some elite talent. We had him, and then we had a Brigham Young and a Michigan commit, all at Top Gun. So, some of the best players going against each other, but Josh has tremendous strength, tremendous speed, lots of athleticism, and you can see how he fits into what Clemson wants to do with their defensive linemen. Obviously, if he's good enough to play tailback in throwing events, he's obviously a pretty good player on the defensive line, and you're going to have to move your feet to block him. Great attitude, great work ethic. He's a good player. Clemson's got a jewel.
That young man has it all. So, check this out. The last segment, we spoke about all of the different paths that the All-American Games offer student athletes. This next young man finds himself now as a freshman All-American. Could very well end up an Army All-American before it's all said and done. I'm talking about Colin Henrik. Dad, let me know if it's Henrik or Heinrich. Right now we're going to go with Colin Henrik, one of my absolute favorites up here in the Washington, D.C. area at St. John's. What do you got on Colin?
Colin came on with us. He was on Team Maryland and was fortunate enough to make FBU 8th grade All-American team, where he was awesome. He was already a Top Gun participant. He had already made all Top Gun. So after those two, what happens is the notoriety begins. People begin to recognize you. People begin to understand that you're amongst an elite group of kids, an elite group of players to be named to these one-off type of events. And once you're named to an All-American team with FBU, people around the country take note. He had offers to come to camp and to be evaluated by lots of people. And I know that he went to the University of South Carolina camp. His dad told me he was down. And so it was awesome. Coach Muschamp had a chance to meet him. But obviously that opened the door to for a lot of other schools locally that wanted him to participate as he headed into high school. And I think he and his family ended up picking St. John's, which is a good choice for him. It's a good school. And all of the schools up there are awesome, public and private. But you pick the right one for themselves. We like to think that what we did helped him have the option. We like to think what we did helped him have the choice of the school that he wanted to go to, because ultimately that's what we want to do. Want to help that kid succeed. But yes, he was a several-time All-Top Gun performer, several-time All-American performer, and he is certainly, we like to think that if you start with us in the 6th grade, by the time you're in the 9th grade, like Colin, you will make significant contributions to your local team, if not be a starter. Colin Heinrich is a starter, and I can go down the list from Antoine Littleton to Zion Larkins to Jaleel Farouk. I can keep going down the list. All those kids are starters in their high school as 9th graders.
Those are young men that, like you said, they trusted the process, and now they're contributing at a major level early on in their career.
Their football IQ, their football acumen is just so much stronger. We put kids ahead of their contemporaries, and that's why they're able to go and contribute so early.
My man. Freddie Brown, thank you for everything you've done, not only for those young men, but for all of them around the country, brother.
We thank you.
Again, want to give a huge shout out to Freddie Brown for joining us during his birthday weekend. Look, also want to give a shout out to Coach Terrence Bird of Team Maryland. All of those young men that we just mentioned, not only Colin, also Antoine Littleton, who is the player of the year, also Zion Larkins, big-time student athlete. They attend the same high school now, but they all come from Terrence Bird's both youth program and, of course, Team Maryland. One of my favorite student athletes in the Northeast region is the versatile shutdown corner Vincent Flight. He and I go 0 to 100 with no question is out of bounds. So Vince, first question here, brother. What do you love most about the game of football?
The excitement.
The excitement? What about it?
Big plays, the brotherhood, what it brings to you, to your family, to your friends, to your community, the excitement.
What does the effect that you have playing this sport, the effect that that has on your community, why is that important to you?
I grew up in a community. Football was big. You had older people than you, younger people than you, playing, you watching it. It was just an exciting thing.
And you're a University of Maryland commit. Why did you choose the Terps, and what does that mean to your community to be taking that next step?
Just our area overall, not just our community. It's big that I'm committed to Maryland. And then in Maryland itself, that's big, like exciting as the culture of football changes in Maryland.
Why'd you choose the Terps?
Not necessarily just one reason, staying home. I mean, that's a big movement. It's a great coaching staff. They've changed a lot. I love the coaching staff that's there now. New buildings. It's a lot.
When did you find out what a Terp was?
Actually, my sophomore year, my good friend of mine, like a brother, Terrell Hall, was being recruited heavily to Maryland. He didn't choose Maryland, but I still loved it, and I ended up choosing it. And I figured out what it was.
What a Terp was then?
Yeah.
Who in your mind is your school's biggest rival?
Probably Friendship.
Now, they got you all earlier in the year in the nail biter. Good chance you all see them again. What's your anticipation for the game?
Right now, a lot of people, a live game.
Who comes out on top?
Us, of course.
Us, of course. Vince, 0 to 100. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
We're going to be talking National Combine next. Joining me, Skylar Davis. Keep it locked. This is National Review.
1, 2, 3, Abby, you know. I want to find out how good I am. Yes, sir. If you relax, you get blown out. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
What can you take advantage of right now?
Again, come on. I can push myself way beyond what you think.
Pressure technique. Bring it back.
Our student athletes play this game for a myriad of reasons. Whether it's for love of sport, the opportunity to earn a scholarship, or maybe even one day playing in the Army All-American Bowl. The National Combine is held annually in association with the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. The National Combine is the first opportunity for the nation's top underclassmen to demonstrate their physical talent and to be able to compete against one another before high school and college football's top scouting organizations, as well as the All-American Bowl Selection Committee. Joining me now is a young man who is going to be going down to that combine, an opportunity to make his dreams come true, my main man, Mr. Skylar Davis. Skylar, first of all, welcome to the show, and I'll get you started on this. What do you hope to learn? What do you hope to prove? What do you hope to accomplish while down at the combine?
2 years ago, I was at the combine in 2016. It was a good experience, but now I'm trying to prove myself that I am worthy of these colleges, that I am good enough to play at any of these colleges that these coaches are trying to recruit. And I'm just as good as them, I'm just as fast as them, I'm just as talented as them, and I can cover anybody.
And I truly believe that, man. I mean, I've been watching you on tape. So as a top-notch student athlete who is obviously on the rise, in attending this combine, how can this help improve your prospects at that next level, which is kind of what you were speaking to there?
This is going to expose me to a lot of coaches. It's going to send my tape out, my information out. It's going to put me out there to all the coaches in the nation. It's going to put my stats up there, and the coaches are going to see me for what I am now.
And you know what, man? The really cool thing about it, I was speaking with Eric Richards. Of course, everybody in high school football knows Eric Richards, and also my main man, Edwin Weathersby of the All-American Games. And both of them said that the great thing about the Combine is that it can completely open the doors to recruiting for student athletes. Is that something that you're also looking to take advantage of while down there?
That is something I greatly look forward to.
I want to go ahead and turn the page and speak about this school year now. Right back here in the DMV area. You all are doing tremendously right now. What's your record? 6-1?
Yes, sir.
What is the secret to Mount Vernon's success thus far on the season?
We have a great team chemistry. We have great coaches. We have athletic teammates. With all that together, this is a special year, and our coach, Monty Fritz, has made a great program from last year to this year, and now these years coming up, Mount Vernon is making a change. We are coming back to being a great program in Virginia.
I'm a VA boy myself, man. 757. I love to see VA teams doing well, standing up, and making it happen. I'm gonna get you out of here on this. Football is a team sport. No one man can get the job done without the other 10 on his team. Everybody doesn't always receive the recognition that they deserve, though, when things are going well. On your team in particular, are there any unsung heroes? Anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to that maybe deserves a little more credit?
The unsung heroes, honestly, is our team. Our whole team we have all athletes. They are all good. And I'd like to make a personal shout out to the defense, who I think does not get enough credit for what we do as a defense, because we make some big stops in games to save us from losing.
That's what's up. That is what's up. Skylar Davis, look, man, I wish you a ton of, I don't want to use luck because you got skill, brother. So I wish you well down there at the Combine, and I absolutely wish Mount Vernon well on the rest of your season.
Thank you. You too, sir.
My man, Skylar Davis from Mount Vernon High School. It's about time for us to get out of here. Want to give a shout out and thanks to everybody who joined us today. Not only Skylar Davis, also Freddie Brown and the young men that we spoke about, Dax Hollifield, Josh Belk, Colin Henrik, and much, much more. Hey, Mr. Henrik or Heinrich, let me know. I'm your official voice of youth and high school sports, Chad Ricardo. This is the Ricardo Reports National Review, powered by Football University. Happy birthday, Mom.